Alright, how's everybody doing? Today we're going to be talking about the importance of sketching in all mediums. This video is going to demonstrate a still life done with some watercolors that took me around a half hour to complete. It's always good to sketch to keep your skills sharp. So I know it's a little bit cliche to do a sketch of some still life fruit, especially with the lemon and orange I'm going to be doing today, but I figured it would be a good exercise to keep my skills sharp in a medium that I don't typically use. Now, as you've seen in the past, I work in oil paints, and this is watercolor, as I mentioned earlier, and I actually haven't done watercolor in a very long time. So I always find that it's best to sometimes explore mediums that we're not always comfortable in or not as experienced in order to stay sharp and then help skills in other mediums, because oftentimes it translates over. So I'm doing this sketch on some Strathmore watercolor paper. It's really good. It comes in a nice booklet that is in kind of like a sketch pad, so you can do multiple iterations. And as I said earlier, the sketch didn't take me very long, and I did tape up the edges to make sure that it's nice and satisfying when I peeled it off, and there wasn't too much bleeding, so the pages on the bottom side of this paper didn't end up getting a little wet from the watercolor paint. And the watercolors that I'm using here are Prang watercolors. They're very standard, they're not super expensive, they're under $20, and you have a good selection of colors to work from. Oftentimes when you're sketching, you should try and push yourself. Normally I like doing kind of not super dramatic work with minimal harsh lighting, but I figured I'm going to sketch, I'm going to work, so the lighting that I have here with the fruit that I'm painting is going to be a little harsher than I normally have, and as I progress with the painting, you'll see those dark shadows. And right now I'm just kind of blocking in the midtones, and I'm kind of taking the skills that I've developed as an oil painter and applying them to watercolor painting. Another important thing to consider is that, like any other skill, practice makes perfect. Michael Jordan has probably shot tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of basketballs in his life. He's considered a really, really great basketball player, and in order to become a good artist, you have to practice. So, just like painting, the more paintings you do, the more experience you become with the medium. Same thing with sketching for just being an artist as an overall theme, because the more work you generate, the more easy it is for you to see things. And that's what's important, but also dipping into other mediums like watercolor. As I said earlier, I'm normally an oil painter, but I'm doing this rough sketch in watercolor just to keep my skills sharp and make sure my eye can see things in different ways. Sketching is always a great opportunity to get outside of your comfort zone artistically. I'm normally a portrait painter, so I do a lot of full body portraits and a lot of portraits of people's faces, which means that I don't really do a lot of simple still lives of subject matter like fruit or inanimate objects. And sketching is a really great opportunity for you to explore other realms of the artistic world. So here I am working on this sketch of fruit, and I'm working on, inanimate objects, something that I don't normally do. And this is of great benefit because it allows you to stay sharp as an artist and make sure that you can put more things in that toolbox that you have. Now, something to remember about a sketch is that at the end of the day, it is what it says it is. It's a sketch. It's not a masterpiece. It doesn't have to look amazing. It's more about exploring a medium or a subject matter for you to be better in the long run as an artist and as a creator. So, as much as I want this to look great, I have to understand that I have limitations in this medium. And that's not a cop-out for you to try and not work your hardest in the medium, but at the same time you have to understand that you should give yourself some form of leeway in order to get the best results as an exercise. So now I'm working from the midtones into the darker tones of the sketch. And you can see that these darker tones add a little bit more geometric nature to the sketch itself. It's making it seem, more three-dimensional as opposed to flat. And I'm going to continue to work through this until the end of the sketch. I've blocked in a lot of the shadows, but now I need to work on the darkness and lightness of the fruits themselves, adding in a bit of the highlights by rubbing some of that watercolor away with a piece of paper towel, but also adding, darker tones to the midtones to make sure that there is depth to the fruit. So here we are, coming to the end of the sketch. This is always the most fun part of any sort of work, a sketch or a real bona fide work, and that's because you get to see it coming together. You get to add those little details that make it look exactly how it's supposed to be. I had a lot of fun working on this little sketch. I think it was a really nice challenge. I pushed myself to work in a medium I'm not as comfortable in and haven't used super recently, and I'm pretty happy with the result. Is it a beautiful work? No, but it was a really good opportunity for me to try something that I don't normally do and get out of my comfort zone. And that's something that a lot of people should try to do as an artist. Work on a drawing of some sort that you're not used to doing, or work in a medium that you're not used to working in. And of course, we're going to get to the most satisfying part in a minute, where I get to pull off the tape and bring those nice clean edges. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I really enjoy making them for you guys. Have a great day.